Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
"10X your business starting today with digital marketing from Just Minding My Business Media, LLC, on JMMB Media TV or Mindset Movers TV. Contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Every day, we can learn and grow in unexpected ways. We may miss the opportunity if we close our hearts. Today, Just My Business Media, LLC is pleased to welcome the contributing authors of the soon-to-be-released anthology, A Little Perspective, a special delivery from pregnancy to toddlerhood. Each of these women is a mother of a child with dwarfism. We look forward to learning much from them, their experiences, and the gifts they bring to life. Erica Shoemate, who is a tech policy leader and national security expert, who also fights for the rights of humans with medically complex diagnoses, as experienced with her miracle daughter, Nia Alexandria. She has also experienced the death of a child after spending a grueling 118-day experience in the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. Because of her experiences, Erica has deeply involved herself in the March of Dimes, as well as maternal health, women's and reproductive health, and clean beauty advocacy. She is here to tell us her story as she expresses it in the soon-to-be-released anthology, A Little Perspective, Real Stories of Little Ladies. Welcome, Erica.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome, welcome. What a journey.
Yes, indeed.
What a journey. So let's talk a little bit about your work that you do.
Absolutely.
So tell us about it.
Absolutely. Yes. So a little bit about my work in the maternal and infant health space. As a result of my daughter's journey, I really believe that my life's purpose and career trajectory, it shifted. Like everything became about my daughter, from how I lived, how I operated, what I ate, when I slept. And I knew that my purpose had been redirected. And knowing that at 20 weeks pregnant, so 5 months for those that are like, what is 20 weeks? We learned that my daughter had a condition that wasn't compatible with life. And to get that news and not expecting such news when it's supposed to be the most exciting day really transformed how I believe women should receive care, prenatal care, and understanding also the impact of how unfavorable diagnoses are shared. And so as a result of my own pregnancy journey into motherhood and postpartum, I've worked extensively with the two former Neonatal Intensive Care Units, serving on two advisory councils for the hospitals for families to enhance the patient experience and also to help families navigate the healthcare system. There are a lot of nuances that many people aren't aware of until you are thrown into the fire. And I always remind people that when you think about the cost of healthcare, unless you are wealthy, you're one incident, one tragedy away from bankruptcy. And I believe it is my mission to help other families when they get those unfavorable prognoses and diagnoses and how to navigate the NICU, working with the medical experts, the clinicians, the social workers. I work with the March of Dimes and bringing these issues to light, not just to talk about them, but having solutions around them. And we all know that legislation is where the real power is. And if you aren't changing your policies and laws, then you really aren't affecting much change. Like, it's great to have, a lot of movements and all these things, but we have to change the policies in order to really get to the root of the issue. And as a result of my own journey, that is the work that I have been doing, serving as a maternal and infant health ambassador, advocate. I really call myself a crusader. I speak for the voiceless and those that are maybe afraid to speak. They don't even know where to go. And it's not about education is one thing, but education, I feel like, has a whole bunch of tiered approaches to it, because we can be educated, but it's having the right expertise for the thing that you are trying to seek help for. And it really is a skill and gift to understand how to navigate the healthcare system, because you can scream and shout, you might get some work done, but it's being able to have the calm, the poise, the directiveness. Like, there's a lot of things that go into play when you are trying to be heard, and not just be heard, but how do you affect change? Because the way you're affecting change is not just about you, is how I see my work. It is about making lasting change for babies like mine and for moms like me.
Wow. That's definitely a calling. And we need more people like you. And I'm honored to meet you.
Thank you.
I'm very honored to meet you, because, when you thrown in this situation, there's emotions, all of that tied up into it. And then you've got to deal with the politics.
Yes.
And most of it is walk.
It is. It's a lot of walking, and also a lot of people telling you what you should do, and not necessarily putting you in a position of what is best for your child. Like, I'm going to give you this information, but even put in the shoes of, if it were me, this is what I would do, because that's also helpful, because it brings a different level of empathy and compassion. And we did have medical professionals throughout our journey that did bring that empathy, let the ego stay at the door, but there are just not many professionals like that. And when you think about the maternal health space, and particularly Black women and women of color, we are not heard and seen. I can't say that everything about my journey was related to that, because I do believe I had medical professionals that listened to me. It was just very tragic and devastating to me mentally and emotionally to have my daughter, when I was pregnant, to learn that, my daughter had a condition that wasn't compatible with life. And in many ways, it was a misdiagnosis. But I was informed and recommended, my husband and I, to terminate our pregnancy, not once, but twice. And at 5 months, you have a whole baby. Whatever your, choices are about how you choose, I have no qualms about that. But as a mother and mom to be, that baby is starting to move. Mm-hmm. So how dare you tell me that my baby is not living when that baby is living inside of me? Or it would be so tragic to even continue with your pregnancy. You should just, matter of factly, is what I was told, to terminate, heal, and start again. And to any mom, you already know the minute you become pregnant, you already have dreams for that baby. Medically, they call it a fetus, whatever. You already have dreams. Even for women, like, unplanned, my pregnancy was definitely a surprise. I'm the type A woman and want all these things, and I'm gonna do it this way, and surprise. And I honestly never really even imagined myself as a mom. Like, I was very career driven, first generation college kid. And I just wanted to give back to my community and pay it forward and help other people. And I believe, from a divine intervention standpoint, God had another plan for me that I was honestly didn't feel like I was ready for, but you have no choice, because a lot of people ask me, oh my gosh, I don't know how you did what you did. I'm like, honey, you do, because you have to.
Yes.
And as moms, that motherly instinct kicks in. You can't describe it. All you know is you are fighting to keep your baby, and to take our journey and see it as, okay, I was so close to terminating my pregnancy. And I just want folks to hear this. I live in the Washington, D.C. metro area in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia has a different law around termination. Maryland has a different law around late term termination. And yet I was being told medically, my daughter had a condition that wasn't compatible with life, but I also was fighting with insurance on, okay, medically, they told me that I should terminate my pregnancy, no real other options. And now the insurance company is telling me, because your baby isn't causing a physical risk to you, we will not approve termination. Let that sink in. So I am going to pay money to not save my baby, but to rid my baby. And again, this is no knock to choice. What I am saying is, when you have decided this is what you want for your family, and those are the choices that are presented to you, and then you find yourself, literally, your world is turned upside down. Physically, you're right, the baby wasn't causing an issue. I had an uneventful pregnancy from a physical standpoint. The piece that, we have this whole conversation in the US and globally around mental health. Telling a mom to be, your baby is dead on arrival, changes you chemically, emotionally, forever. And those are the key lessons I think physicians should talk about. And it really affected me in ways I did not even know until I brought my baby home from the NICU. And my husband and I went through quite a bit of testing and different things, like afterwards, like even the normal prenatal testing you would get would have never diagnosed our daughter or say, anything was wrong. Actually, we're told your baby is perfect. Like at my 12-week checkup, everything looked great. I passed all the screenings with flying colors. And then this news, and because I got a second opinion, we were able to get additional testing and send it to a specialized lab related to skeletal dysplasias. And we learned that our daughter had another condition that still had a high mortality rate, but there were a few babies known to live. And having what is called Ellis Van Creveld syndrome has less than 300 cases reported globally. And there wasn't a lot out there. Like, one is less than 300 cases reported globally, but what's even more striking is I only know of 3 other families of color that have been impacted by specifically Ellis Van Creveld syndrome. And my husband and I, once we decided to carry our baby to term, we prepared for her funeral, her death. We had made peace with it. Like the last 6 weeks of my pregnancy, I got her a memorial gown. And I could not bring myself to call funeral home, so I had my husband to do it. And at 37 weeks, by then, we had learned her condition, and they were like, oh, her chest is growing, because the biggest thing around her initial diagnosis, short rib polydactyly syndrome, the chest doesn't grow, the rib cage doesn't expand. And so essentially the baby would suffocate upon birth. And the doctor said it would be a horrific death, essentially. And the day leading up to her birth, I actually had one last pediatric cardiology appointment, because her condition also, about 80% of babies have a congenital heart defect. So not only we're talking about a pulmonology lung issue, we're now also talking about a heart issue all these things. So again, hope for the best, expect the worst. You'll probably only get a few hours with your baby. Again, you're having to digest all of this. And now I'm at 37 weeks and I learned at what would be my last appointment that I had no amniotic fluid. And to this day,
oh my God.
Yeah, to this day, they don't even know why, because my membranes had not had any issues. And beyond all of that, I also had an issue with my placenta that was never diagnosed. They call it a velamentous cord insertion. And what we know about that is that it can actually cause a stillbirth. And so my high risk specialist, because I transferred doctors, he was like, forget the fact that your daughter had this diagnosis. This condition could have been a thing within itself. And so I was advised, I had to deliver her. So I delivered her at 37 weeks and 4 days. And everyone, this operating room was packed. It was a C-section. The genetic counselors, all these people were expecting to see a limp blue baby. And on that day, Nia, which means purpose, screamed to the top of her lungs. And we all witnessed a real life miracle happen before our eyes. And it gives me chills still saying that to this day.
Wow. That is definitely a miracle. And that ain't nothing but the Lord.
Yes.
Nothing but the Lord. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I have another opportunity to live. And because of Nia, I have been reborn, rebranded. All the things are in honor of her life, her legacy. She, on day one, was already shocking the world, giving the world a new vibration, energy. And now at 4 years old, she just turned 4 last Monday, September 27th. She's not only surviving, she is thriving. Wow. She has survived open heart surgery. Typically, babies with her condition can also have trachs. She was never intubated. None of these things. I mean, we know other babies that also hadn't been intubated, was very few. Like so the first year is a struggle. And if you can get through the first year, there is a lot more hope. And the point of me sharing my story is to remind folks that who may have been faced with something similar is that get the research, talk to the doctors. Like I was coordinating care for myself between the hospitals. Some information I had learned along the way, put it in the back pocket, never thought I would need it. And the day I needed it, my daughter I had already coordinated care between the two hospitals where Nia eventually transferred from. And my daughter coded at exactly 2 months of age in the NICU. She was one of the most stable babies in the NICU.
Wow.
And we thought our baby had died. It happened twice in one day. And having that information, having those conversations, it was like, God can give you the beginning and the end. He ain't gonna tell you how the middle might look. And he was just prepping me for the things along the way. And I was able to pull that information out, and he would always have the right people in place to guide us along the way. And because of my persistency and my advocacy, with a little bit of grace and humility, I believe strongly Nia is where she is today. And the care she has received is a lot of because of being able to successfully navigate and advocate and really understand, taking the time to understand. And I know there are so many other moms and dads that do this thing, but it really is a gift to understand how to operate in this environment. And I just pray that my story, my journey, my husband and I's journey, that, you know, we just help other people who might be in what I would call an unimaginable position that people don't talk about. People say at the 20-week appointment that it's the most exciting day. They go through all the details. What they don't tell you is that people also in those 20-week appointments walk out with some of the most devastating news of their life. Never heard that until I knew one other person, but they were, you know, but it still didn't register. And I wish that those were the conversations we were having. And not that you have to talk about them all the time, but the awareness around what really happened at the 20-week appointment, because it blew me out the water.
I can only imagine.
Yes. So I'm not even going to ask what your chapter is about, because I kind of already
know what that's about.
So what is the name of your chapter?
Yes, that is a great question. It is dedicated Nia's Journey.
And what a journey.
Yes, it really has been. So I'm just humbled by this whole experience.
So if people want to contact you, because I know that people that are going to hear this, there's somebody out there that's going through it or getting ready to go through it. How do people get in contact with you?
Absolutely. I can be reached at FOR Nias, NIAS, Journey, JOURNEY @gmail.com. So together forniasjourney@gmail.com. And also I have a blog. I'm a mom blogger sharing my daughter's journey. I just wrote her third open letter. Like every year since she turned 1, I've been writing open letters to her so that she can archive them and review them one day. So that's also www.niasjourney.com. And I can be reached there as well. But definitely email is easiest for niasjourney@gmail.com. And you can also follow Nia's Journey on Instagram @Nias_journey.
Okay, well, we are so privileged to hear your testimony and your story with Nia.
Thank you.
You are a miracle, and so is she.
Thank you so much for the time and opportunity and space.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV. Through Just Minding My Business, dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmb.assistacircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.